everyone. Good morning. Good morning. It's early here, but I know it's afternoon for East Coasters. Welcome to day 2 of Effortless Expansion. And this is a 3-day experience. If you missed yesterday was day 1 where we talked about offers and we talked about how to actually build a framework and the importance behind it, how to actually do it. Mistakes that people have. And today we're talking about copywriting and how to write copy that enchants your dream clients. And I love copy. I have been working in marketing for the last decade, and I've written copy and edited copy for leading names in the spirituality space, in the coaching space, and it's a very, very dense, epic topic. So I'm really excited to be talking about it today. One of my favorite subjects. So what really is behind copy, the way I see it is this act of seduction between you and the people you will potentially work with. And it is this relationship building technique. And it's how you actually are, especially in the online space, it's how you're actually interfacing with the client and communicating your value, communicating, creating intimacy. So it's also about how we create demand in our business, which is incredibly important because, imagine how your life can change if you have a wait list of clients and suddenly you're able to actually choose the clients that you want to work with instead of just taking whoever will sign up with you. And if you do have a wait list, then you can raise your prices. And so it's a very, very important skill to build because it is a skill. Yes, some people are more natural than other people, but it is absolutely a skill that you can build. And we're going to be talking about very practical things today, but also I see copywriting as a very intuitive experience. So if you are a highly sensitive person, that's good news. I'm going to talk about how to tap into that today. So why is copywriting important? Well, one thing, I think it is the most important thing for getting to $20,000 months. If you're someone who's trying to build to that overflow state and you are at under 6 figures or at 6 figures, it's always about messaging and copywriting to get to the next stage, because it is about that building a fan base, an audience, and that is all about copy. So it's also how you exchange energy with potential clients. So again, if you're a sensitive person, you can already feel this. So developing this will help with that. And then I did want to point out that if you're an e-commerce business versus a service-based business, so if you sell soaps or spell bags versus you're a graphic designer, or you are a tarot reader, or you are a consultant, those are very different categories. And hi, everyone who's joining live. That's so fun. Okay, if you are a service-based business, copywriting is so important, more so than e-commerce businesses, where e-commerce, you can just put pretty pictures up and talk about specs and talk about features and benefits, where when you're service-based, it is all about people actually buy from you because they know, like, and trust you. I'm sure you've heard that before. So it's how you build trust. It's how you build intimacy. So let's get into mistakes. The mistakes I see people making with copy. One thing is storytelling is an incredibly potent skill with copywriting, and thing that you can be doing with copywriting is telling stories, because our human brains are absolutely wired to listen to stories and get entranced by stories and to put ourselves in stories. But if you're just relying on storytelling, you're not actually going to, or it can be difficult to push your potential clients to the point, not push, but pull, let's say pull, seduce the potential client to the point of them wanting to purchase, because you are building more of a friendship than a expert position. So you don't just want to tell stories, and we'll get to what to do instead. And this can leave you stuck because it doesn't always convert if you're just telling stories. If you aren't paying attention to your emotions, at you as the copywriter, as the person who's doing the writing. If you're not paying attention to your emotions, or you're numbed out, or have disassociated from your body, this can be a huge mistake in copy. It's gonna feel inauthentic. It's not gonna land, and you're not actually tapping into the potent power of emotions. And then the third mistake I see very often is following formulas. Now, don't get me wrong, formulas like how to structure a blog post, or how to structure a podcast episode, or how to structure an Instagram post. You see those everywhere. They're very useful when you're getting started, especially if you are uninspired and you're unpracticed. But if you are just following formulas and you don't ever just create out of inspiration and what's inside of you, then it can actually fall flat. And again, we're hitting on the inauthenticity instead of what we actually want to be doing. So what we want to do instead for copywriting, obviously, I touched on this, is you want to actually have a mix of different kinds of posts. There's a whole handful of different kinds of posts you want to be posting in your blog, if you have one, or on podcasts, or on social media, if you do most of your selling on social media. You don't want to just be telling your story, even though really important that you are doing it. You also want to be telling the stories of your clients and telling the what if situations of your potential clients. But you also want to be doing sales posts, very straightforward. This is what's in here. This is what's inside of it. And a lot of people often, when they are trying to sell a service or launch an offer, because they're so much in their bubble of what's happening, they think that they can't keep selling. So like if you've posted 5 times or 3 times on your offer or the course that you're coming out with, or the service that you're doing, you think like everyone's seen it. They just decided, no, they don't want to work with me, when really, like, you're in your own bubble of your business, and because you're the one doing most of the writing, unless you have a copywriter. So you're in this bubble and you don't realize that probably 90% of the people who would be interested in your service or your product hasn't seen anything about it or hasn't heard enough about it. So we actually want to be employing these different types of posts over and over and over again. You will feel like you are overselling, but you often aren't, because people need to hear things again and again and again. And there's different speculations in like marketing from like all the way back to the 90s and before, of like, oh, you need to hear someone needs to hear something 21 times before they buy, or they need to hear it 40 times before they buy. And so there's a lot of, that's just like a reoccurring thing in the marketing space of it's reminding that you need to share over and over and over again. You're probably going to feel like you're overselling, but people need to hear about your products, need to hear about your service, need to hear about the transformation that's possible over and over and over again before they feel comfortable to buy. A lot of the time, some people are those like quick buyer people, and they're just like, yeah, I'm in. Yeah, I heard from you. But a lot of people need to, that's how the actual intimacy and trust is formed, right? That's how it is formed, by repetition, because then they can actually trust the concept and trust it. And of course, I'm saying this to you as a heart-centered, ethical, service provider, business owner. Like I know you're not selling bullshit. I know that you're not selling like snake oil. Like, you're selling something that is of service to the world, of service to your clients. So it really is your job, through your copy, through your marketing, to entice people, to seduce people, to pull people into actually making the decision to buy and work with you, because that's actually going to be the thing that transforms them. So different types of posts. We've kind of started, you want to think about these different types of posts as like different ways of seducing people. And you can think about all the different people that you might have dated, or have flirted with, or been in bed with. And you know that different people like different things. They like being seduced in different ways. And it might be different than the way that you like those things. Like they might like more dominating vibes. They might like more, they might like softer touch than you're used to. And you have to realize that copywriting isn't just about what you want to do. It's about what will best serve your potential clients. So if you don't like speaking in a direct way, realize that some people might need that from you. They might need that push. And I know people don't like the idea of pushing in marketing, but some people actually need that to push themselves towards their transformation, and they need that more direct approach. So again, copywriting is not just about you. It's about this relationship you're building and the needs of your clients. Just like we talked about yesterday with offers and the transformation you provide to people, right? It's not just about you. It's never about you in marketing often. It's all about us being selfish humans and your clients being selfish humans, like we evolved to be. And it is all about them. So if you can make it all about them and their needs, then like we're not just being people pleasers and like throwing ourselves under a bus and over giving to the point of exhaustion. I'm not saying anything like that, but realizing, put yourself in the perspective of what does my client need to hear? What does my client need from me today in order to be ready to make this transition and to say yes to their transformation and say yes to their bigger, better future? Okay, so another thing to do instead is using your emotions as a superpower in copywriting. So I actually haven't heard anyone else talk about this, but it is a really key part of my copywriting process. And it's something that I've been teaching, and a lot of sensitive people really resonate with, intuitive people really resonate with, is as you start developing the capacity to feel more and more emotions in your body, that is of service to copywriting. That is of service to you as the copywriter, because as you're writing, you can actually channel emotions through your body and it will go into the copy that you're writing. And there's actually, especially with storytelling, there are parts of our brains as humans that we will actually, and they've done studies around this, but the watcher of a movie will actually feel the emotions of the people in the movie. Like obviously you've watched a movie, you've felt this. But that actually also happens with writing. So if you can actually channel specific emotions into your writing, and you do that by feeling them in your body as you're writing them and allowing the words to come out that are matching with that emotion, that mirrors in the people that are reading it. So you can infuse your copy with emotions, infuse your people with those emotions, and actually transform people before they even buy from you. Like, that's how we give value. That's how people start trusting us, right? We give value before the sale. Even if they don't buy from us, we're giving value to our audience as a whole. So if you can actually build your capacity to feel your emotions and channel those into your writing, it incredibly impacts your capacity to seduce your audience. Another part of this is it's also an editing technique that I found. When you're reading through something that you've written, and you start phasing out and you start glazing over and you start scanning instead of actually being enthralled with it, okay, there you go. Like, you know that something has to change in your writing. Like if you're glazing out on something that you've written, why do you think that anyone else will read that too? So actually reading through what you've written and seeing where your attention drops off, because your audience will drop off too. And also feeling the emotions that you feel. Are you entranced? Are you seduced? Are you wanting to read that next sentence? Like, do it on yourself. Like, that's how you can edit effectively your own writing. And like, oh, I wonder if this will land with people. Oh, I wonder if this will resonate with people. You never have to actually question that. You just have to build your capacity to feel emotions and channel that in your copywriting and editing processes. So this is big, you guys. I hope that really like settles into you. Okay, another thing for to do instead with copywriting is, we mentioned formulas being a potential mistake that you could be doing if you're relying too heavily on formulas, but you can use formulas as practice So if you have, you find a formula of like, this is how to construct or structure a high converting Instagram post or blog or whatever it is you're writing, script for a sales video, sales page, whatever. You can use that as a practice point or a starting point, but never allow it to actually constrain you in what your intuition is pulling you towards. So if you are just writing something out and you're like, this is the intention for a sales page and it doesn't fit any sort of formula, like go with that more. Because again, the whole thing we're trying to do is to implant emotions into our audience that's reading what we're writing. So if you are channeling down a really clear post or a really clear sales page and all the copy for it, go with that more than you would any sort of formula. Some people are super served by formulas, like it actually helps them because it gives them a little bit of structure to create within. But some people can't do that, and it feels like this draining process to limit themselves. So this is also a like self-knowledge, self-awareness point here. But even if you are that person who really likes to free flow and write with intuition, practicing with formulas can serve you because you can, there might be a natural way that you want to write. And it's not converting right now, if that is you. So learning little structure changes that you can do will serve you. So I wanted to say that. Another part of this is just a really like side comment, practical tip that I personally use. And when I tell people about it, they're like, oh, duh, why aren't I doing this? I really like to use the Notes app on my phone. I was looking for my phone and I'm like talking to my phone. Of course, my phone is in front of me. So I have an iPhone there, and there's a Notes app, just like really basic, already in your phone app. The Notes app on your phone. I don't know. I'm sure there's like the same sort of thing on an Android phone. I just don't have an Android, so I don't know what it is. What I do is I just have a running note in my phone that whenever, usually inspiration comes when I'm randomly out, or I'm listening to an inspirational podcast, or I'm grocery shopping or at the beach. Like that's usually when inspiration comes for me, just in random parts of my day. So if I can capture that, like I'm always trying to capture that. And you should be too, because figure out when inspiration actually comes to you and cultivate that, obviously. But I just get out my Notes app on the phone. I have this running note of different copy ideas, or like I'll just stop wherever I am and actually write the post, or like the 50% of the post that wants to come out of me in that moment. I capture that on my Notes app. And when I am later being like, okay, now I need to actually post something, I'll just go to that, go to the Notes app, bring out that note and finish up the post and post it, and just put a little X, like literally the letter X above that. So I know that I've already posted it. And so I have this running note of inspiration that has come to me in the moment. And so I always have this well to go into to share. So that's something that really helps me. And it's helped a lot of people I've shared that with. So obviously another part of this is engaging with life outside of work. I know we're in these weird times with the global pandemic. So it's a little harder to engage with life. But of course, like going out into nature, that is a very pandemic safe activity. But you engaging with life outside of work is going to serve you as a copywriter. It's just like you actually hear this from famous copywriters is you having hobbies and doing cultivating different skills and having just an interesting life. That is going to help you be a better copywriter, connect more with people, because you're going to actually be able to draw on those experiences to infuse into your copy. But also, like, those are the times when you're actually going to get the inspired thought of what to share. Like my example of going to the beach and just sitting on the beach, that's when inspired thoughts come for me. So actually cultivating that, setting the intention around it. And it's just going to also lead to a more pleasurable life. And I'm sure you've heard the Einstein story of Einstein had some sort of second job outside of being a, leading scientist of where I think he worked at like the post office or something. And that's in that menial task of doing repetitive work that actually allowed him to tap into his subconscious to kind of just work in the background when he wasn't directly thinking about something. And he came up with one of his most famous concepts in modern physics, right? And that it works for all of our brains when we can actually like take our focus. Of course, focus and attention is important, but if we can actually take our attention off of something that's really percolating and allow it to really percolate in us by doing other things and not having focused attention on it, that's usually when things will bubble up for us. That directly applies to copy. So, I'm already over 20 minutes. That went fast, you guys. I'm just trying to keep these short and sweet so you can go on with your day and actually apply stuff here. So my exercise for you today is to go through actually a mindset process before writing something. So I didn't even touch on this today, but mindset is an incredibly important piece of copywriting, because if you don't believe in your offer and you don't believe you're good enough and you don't believe that anyone is going to buy, and I mean, there's a million beliefs that could be limiting your capacity to have powerful copy. Oh, you didn't know about that about Einstein. Real world creatives. Yeah, it's a good one. I'll try and find the actual reference. I learned it in college. I was a physics major, so I like Einstein was a big part of my actual college experience. I'll try and find that reference for you. But so mindset is a really key part of copywriting, because if we don't believe in what we're selling, then you're just not going to sell it. You're not going to sell it. You're going to act and speak and think in different ways than if you're like, I have the best fucking offer in the world. Why isn't everyone in this today? This is going to absolutely serve them. Where are my clients? Like, I know that people are going to buy today, and there's so many people I can serve through this. Like, if you believe that, you're just going to act and write differently than if you're like, I don't know, and I like, money. And anyways, so the exercise for today is going to be a mindset practice. And if you are not on my email list, that's how I'm sending out that little workbook that goes along with this training. So if you want that, just DM me and I'll send that to you. But quick overview, is what you want to do is write out your goal. So maybe that's to get one new client or to hit a certain revenue level. This is a journaling exercise before you write. And then just brain dump on what is actually in your brain, that all the things that are in your brain that are saying that that's not possible. So maybe if your goal is one new client this week and you're like, well, I don't have a big enough audience, this is what you're going to be actually writing down. You want to get this out of your head. I don't have a big enough audience, and I don't actually know if it's any good, and I'm so freaked out about money, and I feel like shit, and I just don't know how it's going to happen. And like, you just keep going until like you're done with that brain dump. You choose a better belief. So what do you want to actually choose to believe instead? And it can be something like, use ones that are directly related to whatever you had just journaled out, but it could be something like, my offer is of great service to my people, and my offer changes lives. I'm amazing at what I do. Like, whatever the direct belief that you want to actually infuse into your copy. And then when you get to that, you get through all of that, you just want to ask, what do my people need to hear today? So if you're an intuitive person, this can be enough for you for all of the copywriting you do, for podcast scripts, for Instagram posts, for live videos. This process can be enough to hit your goals. So that's what I want you guys to do today. It can actually be something you do every single day. Again, if you want that workbook that goes along with it, just DM me and I'll send that over to you. And also join me tomorrow. So shoot, we're already 25 minutes in. So I won't keep going. I could talk about copy all day, but tomorrow's day 3. It's at the exact same time and place. It is, so that's 10 a.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. No, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. And we're going to be talking about scalable systems and how to actually create systems in your business to grow and have your business run without you. And some people get really excited about systems. They're like, yeah, fuck yeah, I want like people and technology to do the work for me. But some people are like, well, I'm triggered by tech and I'm just going to completely phase you out. So I just want to, like, creating systems is in your business is how you are able to actually take a vacation and leave your business. It's how it's going to grow beyond just you and your meat suit. We'll talk about all this tomorrow, but it's a big one. Definitely join me tomorrow for that. And also, right now is open enrollment for the Alchemical Business Intensive. If you don't know what I'm talking about, hit the link in my bio. It is my 6-month container for building a foundation to scale. And it is small group, really high touch. You actually can create the sisterhood of support for you to grow and meet your biggest fans, your biggest collaborators, just supporters and friends. And also, like, all of my training for what I call aligning, magnifying, magnetizing, and amplifying, which is the process that I teach for actually building a scalable business. So we focus on your offer and your your offer and your mindset and your identity first, then go into copywriting and launching. And I have launched $1 million programs for clients. And I had multiple 6-figure launches for clients. It's one of my specialties is launching online programs. So you get my entire process in it. And then we move into phase 3, which is all about building systems and how to build the people systems, how to hire your first person or your next person and build an A team of players, how to actually free up your time so you're spending 80% of your time in your zone of genius. So head on over to the link in my bio or thedirtyalchemy.com/ABI. And you can read all about the program, or you can just book a 30-minute call with me to see if it's a good fit for you. And I look forward to connecting. So you guys have a great day. I will see you tomorrow for our systems talk and the 3rd day of effortless expansion.